fun. Our lease is coming up on our house in April, and we're trying to decide if we want to renew it or if we want to move. We're currently looking at a house right now. We're procrastinating by doing this. This house does have it has something that the other house is lacking. It has a proper back porch and or balcony, and I think it's backed up to a river down there. All right, we're not gonna get this house. We're just curious. We're also trying to figure out where in Nashville we want to live. That is one benefit to renting. You get to kind of test drive just different areas that you want to like eventually end up in Nashville. We're looking at Brentwood right now. That's where we are right now. We're in Brentwood, just because the rent is about the same as what we're currently paying for in our current house. I don't know if we're gonna move or not, but it's fun, I guess. House number 2. Got a balcony. Very tall. I foresee myself sipping coffee in the mornings, looking down into the forest. This layout makes more sense than the other one. It's technically smaller, but it's like more open, so it doesn't feel quite like that. This would make a good studio. It's like big, and the ceilings are high, and it's long. It's an ideal studio setup, except for the carpet. I'm not a big fan of that, but acoustically it'll sound better. It's just I'm not a big fan of carpet. I think we're just gonna keep our house. These houses are nice. It's just it just doesn't warrant. It's not worth moving and all that, right?
Yeah.
If you are thinking about moving to Nashville or just Tennessee in general, or just pretty much anywhere, my recommendation would be to, if you can and if you can afford it, go look like in person at the houses or just the neighborhoods in general. You can get a sense and a feel of the area more so than just Googling it on the internet. We've lived in Nashville for, what, 3 years now? And we've lived in the surrounding areas for another like two years. The thing about Nashville is there are good spots and there are not so good spots. And it's not necessarily that they're like, there are some parts that are just you want to avoid, but it's not like there are some spots that are like objectively like terrible. I think it just comes down to personal preference and what do you like value. Like, do you value being in the middle of nowhere and like having like your privacy, or do you value being close to things? And the beauty about Nashville is it offers pretty much all of that. So for me, I know that like I definitely appreciate having sidewalks on their sides of the roads, and with that comes like a specific. You basically just base and target your search based on things that you want, and that helps you narrow down the search of Nashville and the surrounding areas like Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and all of that stuff. And that's literally what we're doing. We're just trying to see if maybe this spot in Nashville fits our needs that we currently have better than the place that we're currently in. It's not that it's a bad place or the area is bad, it's just, does this place suit our needs better, if that makes sense. If you're looking to move to Nashville or Tennessee in general, I really suggest coming here and dedicating a couple of days or a week or something like that and drive around different spots and kind of see what grocery stores are there and what kind of amenities are available to you immediately. And that's not just a Nashville thing, that's just a life thing. Yeah, all that to be said. This house is nice and the other house was nice, but I think we're going to stay where we are for now, unless something else comes up. Right? Do you have anything you want to add?
I don't want to move again.
That's also, like, we just got everything, like, I just finished my studio and her office is just about done, and it takes a lot. Hey Siri, what's 20 times 16? Savannah and I have a phone call for a shoot that we're doing at 3, and it's 2:55 right now. Ready for the phone call. I also did all that in like 2 minutes, so pretty impressed with myself. So I wanted to answer a question that I get not super frequently, but it is something that's something that people have asked me, and I've never answered it before, and mostly just for legality and stuff like that. But I think enough time has passed to where I can actually answer this question on camera. So also, this is a non-broken version of the cup that I broke in my last video. Savannah got a pack of like 6 of them, and now she has 5. Anyway, back to the question. So for those of you that may or may not have known this, I used to play at Elevation Church, and one of the questions that I frequently got, and honestly a lot of people think this when they're auditioning, is it a full-time job with like health benefits and stuff, and B, how much does it pay? So to answer the first question, it's not a full-time job. There was actually one time I played for auditions for a campus, and somebody a guy quit his job, like his current job, I think it was from Colorado or something, quit his job in Colorado, flew out to the campus, and like before the audition like happened and everything else, he was like asking like 401k stuff and like benefits and just how much like does the full-time job pay, and somebody had to tell him that it's not a full-time job, it's a contract thing, and he ended up not making it, which is unfortunate, but it's clear the air. As far as I know from my experience, it's not a full-time job. Musicians playing on the weekends at Elevation Church, it's not a full-time thing. Obviously there are staff members that do play and stuff like that, but it's a completely separate thing. On paper, you're a contracted musician for the church. To the second question, how much does it pay? So kind of like set or lay the foundation of how the church views paying musicians. They don't view it as we're like hiring like professionals to come and play for our church services. They look at it as almost a reinvestment back into the musician. So some churches I know will, like, if you're a guitarist and you want like a couple guitar pedals, the church will pay and buy those guitar pedals for their musicians. And instead of Elevation doing that for all of the musicians at all the campuses that they have, it's just easier for them just to give you like a day rate or a service rate for every time that you play. That's basically it. It's not intended to be a livable like wage, or it's not intended for it to be like a full-time thing. It's mostly just honoring you for your time and reinvesting back into your craft because you're investing in the church. All right, now that I've said that, let's get into the juicy stuff. How much do you get paid? So when I first started, the campus that I was at, there was a Saturday service and 2 Sunday services, and for the whole thing, I got $250. Now, shortly after that, they just decided to kind of make a flat rate for all campuses, because I guess before then, this is just from what I had heard, I didn't experience this, there were different rates for different campuses. But the flat rate for all campuses after that was going to be $100 per service. So if you played 2 services on Sunday, that means you would make $200 a Sunday. If you played 3 services on Sunday and a service on Saturday, that means you would make $400 for the weekend. And then for like campus nights and stuff like that, the rates kind of varied. It just really depended on the time commitment that was required, and yeah, that's For standard Sunday stuff, it was $100. For special events, it was a little more nuanced than that. And that's literally basically it. After you would get, I wouldn't get a check from Elevation. They set up direct deposit, and every 2 weeks I would get an email saying that payment was on the way, and it would just arrive in my inbox, much like jobs give you direct deposit. It was just like that. And I did end up having to pay taxes at the end of the year because it was looked at as I'm a contracted musician for the church, meaning that I'm my own entity, so I had to pay taxes and all that. But that's basically it. For short answer, $100 a service. It's not, I know some churches pay less than that and some churches pay way more than that. And I don't think it's just I don't think the payment thing is a competition type of thing. It's mostly just, in Elevation's eyes, they're just honoring you and reinvesting back into you so that you can buy gear, and just it's like a physical, tangible way to just respect your time and your devotion to serving their church on weekends, because it does require a bit, and the standards are fairly high for church. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything else. I think they do it in a healthy way, and they frame it in a healthy way. Okay. If you have any questions on payment, or if you need advice for like how you should start charging churches or how to even like approach that conversation, let me know in the comments, and I'll answer them. And if enough people ask, then I'll make a dedicated video for that, because I do have some thoughts on the whole church payment thing and how to approach it. It can be a really touchy subject, especially in church. And I think there are ways to, one, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, but two, to also make sure that you're not being taken advantage of, because unfortunately that does happen sometimes. Okay. And like always, that's just my experience when I was at Elevation. They probably have updated it and changed it maybe. So I can't speak for what they're currently doing. I can only speak for what they did when I was there. I feel like I have to add that disclaimer in every time. That way, if they did change something or when they changed something, I'm not, I hope you understand. Look at that garage. Door was all locked. Check this out. Did they literally cement the, I think those are attached to the ground with the 5-gallon buckets attached to. One thing that's really cool to see in Nashville is all the renovations people are doing to houses. Like, those houses were old, and they're like getting like facelifts and stuff. It's cool to see older stuff in Nashville being revitalized and repurposed to. That's cool. So it's been like super cold in Nashville recently. I mean, I'm sure you saw on somewhere it was like 5 degrees a couple days ago. And because of that, riding or being outside at all it's miserable. And riding a skateboard where the wind, it makes it terrible. But the past couple of days, it's been like 60s, just randomly. And it's been great. All that to be said, I don't have any real reason to be out here besides I wanted to come outside because being cooped up in the house, it's a nice house, but being cooped up in the house is, it's nice to be outside.